It's been quite an interesting week, a week where things have happened, a lot of issues. Of course, you remember last week we talked about the fake promises of launches and projects in the Republic of Kenya. And of course, this week we talk about even deeper issues, people stealing SACCO's money and all that. I'm your host, CEO Charles Otieno, alongside esteemed hosts.
Panel. My name is Wanja Maina.
And I am Maria Nyambane Waweru. I'm so happy to be here. And you can tell by our faces, we are really so happy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, I like the outfit. This is good.
Thank you.
Hey, this is
That
good.
is the first wife's.
Outfit. You will get to know that about that joke later on in this episode. I'm Simon Says. I'm a content creator that makes you content, that makes you smile and think. We're going to keep it real with you, starting from the top. We're going to start from the top, okay? From here.
Let's start from the
Let's
top.
start from the let's go.
Well, I think this week you've seen the SACCOs have serious problems in this republic. Members have contributed their money, they have deposited lots of money, and many members, when they go to withdraw their money or leave the SACCOs, they don't get their money. One of them is Metropolitan SACCO, where they have, the members are looking for 15 billion they have deposited, and some of them have not received their money. Is there any problem with SACCOs, Simon?
Yes, there's a big problem with SACCOs. And this is a very personal issue because my mom is within the education sector of things. And I noticed this problem last year, and I told her verbatim. I did not know much about Metropolitan SACCO because she sent me with the bank details. Simon, can you go in there? Because I have a very aggressive nature when I go into offices. I wanted to know what's up with the money, why is we not receiving it, and that was the big issue that we went. So when I walked into the offices to actually now say why we have sent so many letters to get a withdrawal for these funds from my mom's account. What is going on? Of course, they'll give you so many runarounds. The moment I started seeing this, I said, I don't only smell a rat, I smell a stench of manure and nonsense coming from your mouth because you're not saying anything of content. Because what happens a lot in these circles, even something I told my mom about is, a lot of teachers will get into circles just because everybody else is in it. And then now a lot of Kenyans will also do what? Get into that circle because Wanja, when she got into the circle, she got funding for a fashion business, and all of a sudden it's flourishing. And that is the key thing to success. No. You have to now be strategic in recognizing the rules of engagement with circles. And one key thing when it comes to circles, especially in Kenya, we need to ask, is not how much you can actually get from them, is what are the policies and terms and conditions for withdrawal. Because a lot of times, a lot of these circles, the only way you can withdraw is by getting a loan. And so that what happens is when you want to now withdraw or even termination of your
membership
with them, yes, membership with them, but of course that comes the cut that they will have to keep from your funds. So with all these terms and conditions that you want to get into circles and other groups, be well aware as to how you can actually get your funds back, especially when you're in times of need. A need has arisen here. Are you able to access those funds that you've been allocating to the circle every other month? That's something that you need to know, and you need to know it down to the last T. Not only the loans that you have access to, which they sell to you when they come and propose to you so many things. They sell you now, with only 20% of your, just because with your salary, you can access so much more, 10 times or 3 times more the funds that you put in. Be very careful and knowing the terms and conditions. That's very key.
SACCO's problem is the leadership. Because the reason why this SACCO had this issue is because they cannot even tell people where their money is. They all don't know. It's more like people in higher power are stealing slowly by slowly. But let's move to another point. In this country, which investment is safe? We ask that every day, and we never know. First of all, SACCOs are good because of the loans, and if you want to be safe in a SACCO, have a higher loan than your savings. Trust me, you will not lose your money because you cannot lose your loan. But in any other thing called investment in this country, it's becoming a risk. Some people are actually running to SACCOs because they felt, we feel safer here. And that's why when so-and-so is in a SACCO, their money is safe. Or it's not, the land was not demolished and taken away. Or the plot they bought is not taken away, but it belongs to railways, or it belongs to KPLC, or it belongs to whom. So SACCOs is whereby I can save my money, not worrying, and at the same time they can give me money when I have a project. But in real sense, it's more like We are all going there because we thought that is where our security is. The main question actually should be, in this country, how are we going to grow wealth if we are going to have all the places that we can save, we can invest, being risky? All the places that we can go and sit down and say that I'm here so that I can at least buy this so and so shares, or have this and this savings for me at least to grow my wealth. Or I'm here buying land today and it's gonna go away. So we, in this country, where is the safest place to take our money if even SACCOs are becoming a problem? Because that is just one SACCO. We've seen other companies, other financial companies dying with your money in it. We've seen investment funds. You've invested in something and then all of a sudden the company does not exist with your money in it. The question should be actually, why is it that in this country there's nowhere whereby you can save? This is the lowest risk save. Okay, it's not even supposed to be low risk. This is where I can invest, because we were going for low risk, and low risk is SACCOs, one of them, and you're seeing what is happening.
True.
Where? I think when Maria is talking, I'm just thinking, in whose hands are we safe? I remember when we used to ask that. But for me, I would say money issues are actually very sensitive, and they even have physical repercussions on the people's lives. I'm imagining a teacher who is about to retire, for example, pesa yake imepotea. It can lead to depression. We've seen people, and in one of the shows we even talked about how it sort of disorients everybody's lives. But then again, in Kenya, there is no punishment for making mistakes or defrauding people, and therefore, even if I'm a leader of a SACCO, I will defraud you all, and there is nothing that will happen, and the next SACCO will do the same, because it's not the first time we've had SACCOs defrauding people, probably not the last time. I believe that there's a government agency whose work is actually regulation of SACCOs and such kind of financial arrangements. If we have never had them prosecuting a matter of the defrauding of the public to the very conclusive end, therefore then it means there are a lot of loopholes along the way in terms of regulation of those SACCOs. Something else, people who start SACCOs, and we've seen them in the villages, we've seen village cooperatives. Most are people who are, tuseme tu, they are farmers, or they are people who have been brought together by a common interest. Tunaweza ita hata tunaweza anza, let's be real SACCO hapa, tukue kwa SACCO. But then again, we are driven by passion in our ability to talk about topical issues. We don't have ability to talk about finances. SACCOs, because of the informality nature of them, and as Maria has said, low risk, sometimes they are managed kienyeji.
Yeah.
It is important for people who start SACCOs and chairmans to now employ services of professionals like lawyers, professionals like bankers, professionals like accountants. Because actually, there is one SACCO that collapsed, and I remember the managers were just coming, calling their friends, wanawapea loan kubwa, wanawambia hata msilipe, and then now the friend akishapewa loan yenye anajua hata lipa, anapea huyo kickback ya cash kama 500. Why? Because they knew that ikishaenda under, there won't be follow up, because after all it has gone under. There are a lot of places in the law that they exploit to sort of unscrupulous managers. Sometimes they employ their children. If we are farmers of coffee, our managers who asema, tutafute kijana yetu tumpatie kazi. But these issues of money, they are issues that require professionals. And for me, I'm saying SACCOs are a very good safety net for money for people who are trying to save, people maybe who cannot access high-end lending mechanisms. But then again, if you don't professionalize, your 1.5 million, it will be even hard to trace it and to audit it. Billion, sorry.
Yeah,
billion. Nime lose a lot of zeros. B. So I think that is the problem with the SACCO environment.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Zero means nothing.
You know, it's really sad when the public or people, private citizens, because people don't save money because they have a lot.
Yeah.
People save money because they are thinking of the future, and that future of uncertainty. So you are trying to plan your future. When you plan your future is when you say, I earn 50,000 shillings, but for me to survive, I need 70,000 every month. But I'll take 10,000 out of these 50 to save it. So I will be surviving on 40, and I would have actually, my requirements are 70. That means you are really, really struggling to make ends meet, to educate your kids, to eat, to develop, but hoping that the moment you leave the active workforce, you will be able to collect your money lump sum and invest in something or continue earning something towards your sunset years. So, not that everyone goes to a SACCO because he has a lot of money. Actually, people who form SACCOs are the lowest, if you go to cooperative for, let's say, coffee, tea, and all this, and even professional bodies. Because if you are a rich person, then you do not need to be in a SACCO. You just need to go to the bank, because you can get a loan which is high yield, and you pay off and you continue with your projects. So 90% of Kenyans survive on SACCOs, who are employed or people who are struggling in have these duties to perform. So SACCOs have been a very integral part of our republic, an integral part of development of our people. But the problem has been that the government has not been in a position to put regulations that hold accountable to these individuals who run these SACCOs. Because for sure, if these people had 100 million or a billion or 1.5 or 15 billion, it means actively this money is remitted every month. Actively. It means this money, you could be buying maybe property somewhere, which could be also bringing the SACCO more money, so that it cannot go down. You can reinvest the members' money so that you are always having a lot of money. But if you do not have a mechanism to check how these monies they have collected, how they are kept, because the government have an oversight role here. And the oversight role is to make sure that whenever you collect, let's say per month is 500 million, where is it kept? How much are the books indicated that you've given out as performing loans and which are not performing? And how do you stop? Because you can, with technology, you can see all this. It's easy. Yeah. So it, for me, it's a lack of goodwill from the government, because even the police SACCO, which is a government SACCO, is collapsed.
Is even that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And do you know what they do? I've seen this tactic over and over again. I don't know if you guys have noticed it. So what happens is when there's a misappropriation of funds, about a year and a half before it's actually publicly noted, all the board people who are in management level or people who actually handle that go one by one.
Yes. They resign, yes.
They resign one by one.
Yes.
Then the exposed comes out. Then now the new management, who primarily, even you'll be shocked, were people who are still just down and just up leveled, or even just people who they know they just brought in as external new people. What happens is they come in and say, you know, Sisi, tunakuambia ukweli, the money was taken by these past people, and we're gonna make sure that we can actually do this. That is a normal routine that you get within SACCOs. The guys come out a year earlier, then the newbies come in, telling you the true story, but the damage has already been done, and it's even hard to prosecute because the other guys are already
left.
Yes.
That is the truth, and that's the key. That's a harsh divorce.
But then again, it should not be hard, because people should be held to account, because it's an individual responsibility they had as board members. I think it's just a matter of the law and people getting away with murder, I quote unquote.
But the lack of accountability is really bad. But
Yeah,
anyway,
it's really
go on, Wanja. What's that story about divorce that I hear nowadays? What's going on here?
Where?
Sleep divorce.
Have you guys heard about sleep divorce? Basically, same house, different bedrooms, different beds. People these days are not sharing at this bedroom for parents. Apparently, it is increasing the longevity of marriage.
To who? Apparently to who? Like, no, here's the thing.
There's bad breath involved.
Okay, would you want to do so? Sleep divorce. Let me break it up. Sleep divorce. We're together, but we sleep separately.
Bedrooms.
But we sleep separately because of our conveniences of our sleep.
Yeah.
That more or less, like maybe I snore and you don't appreciate it.
But also you want your own me time in another bedroom. We are together, but we are not together.
Let me tell you this. Let me say the truth. if your relationship has reached a point in which you guys are sleeping in separate rooms,
Forget
you
it.
guys have bigger issues apart from even sleeping, someone snoring, or even like a small thing of I need my space. You lack the ability of having shrewd conversations and even connecting with one another. That is the truth. These two little narratives that I see a lot of things. I have a big issue of modern researches according to studies done on who, for what outcome, and through which method, qualitative or quantitative, and how did they even come up with this conclusion. So according to some studies, it will help our relationship. Which relationships are these are even succeeding? And even you're using these studies that in the States over 50% of those are divorces. So you're actually even doing studies on a failed population, on a relationship. So what you need to do is, let's stop studying failure, let's start studying success on a serious note, by the way. Because a lot of times, when we study a lot of failure, we start now presuming that everything even within Kenya is a failure. No, a lot of us are actually doing it right. If you guys are thinking that you guys wanted to 1 or 2 days sleep in separate rooms, okay. When you make that a routine, it's not only separate rooms, you're sleeping with someone else in that room. And here's what I mean by this. The essence of you sleeping in the same room with the person that you're with means that we are not going to bed with any issue. We must solve it, whether we like it or not, because we know we're going back to the same place. When we know we can avoid issues, when we know you can go this way and that way, what happens? Escapism, lack of communication, and then distance
Lack of
happens.
commitment.
And then lack of commitment. Exactly. I don't even view your body as mine, and I don't view your whatever, any ownership. And a lack of ownership means what? I will find someone who actually now will stroke me and actually now make me feel happy at night and make me go rrrr. But now you actually but you, and that's the cost that you actually undergo. So if you're willing to follow these studies because you're thinking this is such a very modern way of handling things, just because it's new and modern does not mean it will make the relationship last. That's if you want a last relationship. But if you want a relationship collapse, please, yes, sleep separately. You see another Simon walking to your wife's bedroom and you don't know what happened. Wait.
Wow, Simon! Okay.
It's the truth.
I don't know why I think when you decide to sleep in separate bedrooms, both of you are cheating. We are married, we can solve. Actually, they said that according to the study, they can meet and talk before they go to bed. Their intimacy is now actually different because it feels okay and better because now it's not like it's a forced issue, it's more of a commitment issue. Yes, according to Cheaters Association, that can happen. But on normal situations, let's be realistic. In African setup, that's impossible. We don't do that. We know very well that a married couple, no matter the issues you have, you will share a bedroom. However, Simon, let me disagree with you.
On?
The marriage could not be ending. It
Just as a
could
break.
be that it ended, but we don't need the public to know. So this is our home, our setup, so let's just pretend that it's working this way. Because a lot of people are in marriages whereby they're not happy, they're not okay, and they're just there because of maybe convenience, children, wealth. So because we've agreed and we've seen that we are not going anywhere, let's just mask it as self-divorce. I'll sleep with you once in a while because, let's face it, ovulation happens. But in real sense, the rest of the time, we are not together. It already ended. So the study actually, any study done abroad, we know very well that in Kenya is whereby divorce is a big deal. But then in Kenya, divorce is a big deal because most of us Kenyans don't, I included, I don't even know the process of divorce. In America, it's more like when you're getting married, you already know this process of marriage and this process of divorce because things might end. So I don't know where this stupid culture of we can sleep in separate room, but yes, men, brush your teeth, bad breath is bad, but sleep together as a couple because that is the only way we know that you're married.
See you.
Mambo imechemuka.
You know, first of all, and I just wonder, someone sat down
I wonder.
and decided he's going to do a research on people sleeping separately and they're married. So why are you getting married in the first place for? If you can't stand each other. why don't you just become a boyfriend or a girlfriend or visit or become a day bag?
You leave at night.
You leave at night, you
Yeah.
go to your home, you do these things. It is, you see, the Western way of looking at things has always been looking at things which do not concern us. What we, I say Africa is our
We are Africans, and Africa is our
business. Because sometimes there are things, as we are fighting poverty, we are fighting accountability, we are fighting corruption, big issues, issues. And at home, you want people to go to school, ignorance, disease. We are fighting many things which are supposed to uplift the society. Yet you come and tell us that people need to sleep separately for long life. You cannot live long life without kicking off diseases first, without kicking off ignorance. But traditionally, if you had more than 4 wives, you had a kadingira in Kikuyu where you'd sleep and your women would come and sleep. And that one was for order. It's for order that, because you do not want any woman to see that is favored, that you sleep in one house more than the other. So you have your own house, which they used to be at the center, or in dual, they used to call it dual, where you have your own bed, but you'll pick every night a woman who comes to sleep. But people used to sleep together. That was a concept of people living that way. But what I have a problem is that you sit down and formulate a research which cannot help anyone. That one is a research which cannot help anybody.
But even traditionally, that was wrong. Just so
Why?
we're clear on this.
Traditionally, I was wrong. Why? Why do you say
You
it's
have a
wrong?
home and then people come in shifts.
Yes.
see, they have their own 2 houses.
They have their
Yeah,
own
you come in,
houses.
yeah, you come
Yako
in your
iko
own place.
katikati,
Yako iko
alafu
katikati.
ziko
Alafu
ile.
mnakuja in shifts.
Yeah, yes.
He's
That
the-
is over glorifying a man. I'm sorry.
No, man
As
deserve
in, I'm
glory.
just.
Your husband deserves some glory. Even saying that even a man did not deserve that glory, that's shameful. Even just as a woman deserves glory, even a man deserves glory at the
But
same time.
how am I
Close that
getting
mouth
glory?
against your-
How am
open
I
your
getting
mouth
glory?
slightly.
How am I getting glory if I'm
deserves-
coming to your house and you're not the one coming?
Yeah.
Let me
Listen.
really let me play the devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
So this issue of, in the past, like, have you ever seen the way in traditional African society when people are married, it's like mnambiangwa huyu ndio mbavu yako, huyu ndio mbavu yako. It's like you are not allowed to have your own free thoughts,
Okay.
to travel alone. In fact, I remember one day here at when we came for a show, I met with one journalist and she was telling me she's going for a solo holiday. She does it every year. It's her way of reconnecting with herself. So sleep divorce, in my understanding, it doesn't mean that I'll be sleeping in their own bedroom every day for the rest of my life. It's like sometimes you just need pause to reflect and chill. And then again, I'm also looking at it this way. And why I like it, it's because it gives you a sense of individualism, even in the context of marriage, because we are always taught to be in each other's businesses, that sometimes we assume that I need you for everything, for my own joy, and sometimes I'll need a bit of privacy. And lastly, we're in the age of technology, we're in the age of different working hours. You'll find someone is a content creator here, but we are working with the Americans. Therefore, it means you'll have to wake up at midnight to have Zoom call now or Zoom because of the time differences. So I also see that sleep divorce could also mean that I'm in sync with your timelines and with my timelines. Like myself, I know myself. There's some clarity I get nikiamka kama 2 a.m. I just wake up. When I'm preparing something and I need that extra boost to do, 2 a.m. to around 5 a.m., my mind is so fresh. So it means that if I know I have a deadline that would sort of need me to work on my laptop in the bed, I would need that sleep divorce for like 2 days to sort of put my mind together. So I think it helps.
No, let me tell you something, Wanja. There's nothing like you are in each other's businesses. When you are married, you are begging to be in each other's businesses. People are so busy. Responsibilities are so many that time together, that is where we have that bed you share. Because the rest of the time, there is not, like in marriage, there is no that in each other's business. You plan to have, even like we are going for dinner, it can fail so many times because people are busy. And when you get into marriage, kids are there, things become more busy. So there's no each other's businesses. That is what the bed is for, to be in each other's business.
Wow.
Fully.
Yes,
But
fully.
I see. But let me back her up. In reality, even taking a step back, I have done, even looking back, I have done that sleep divorce
Yes,
before.
yeah.
and it's happened only one time. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I was in my bedroom.
Yeah.
We had a big issue.
Yeah.
She went to the other bedroom because I had a spare bedroom in
Yeah.
the bed, and she slept it off. In the morning, we were able to handle that situation. So I have seen its relevance once or twice.
Yeah.
I can see its relevance.
Yeah.
But then now, if it's overly stretched,
Yeah.
Just
problem.
And it happens,
Does
it actually happens
okay,
most,
tears are necessary.
it happens most times because if it's not sleep divorce, like in the context of a big bedroom, it's sofa divorce, where one of the spouses atakasirika analala kwa sofa. Yeah, on the sofa. So it has always happened. It's just that we have
I
given
am
it
not
a
sleeping on
name.
the sofa. Oh, being honest, I am not sleeping on that sofa.
Yeah.
A woman is empowered. Laugh on the sofa. And on that note, we'll be on a break. I'm just keeping it real with you. Stay there.
Wow, welcome back. I think Simon, you've spoiled this thing completely.
Totally. Simon.
You can't send a woman to sleep on the couch, but it's okay. Where?
Where?
I'm not joking. But continue, Maria.
Simon, you're a toxic man.
Toxic Max.
Now, let's talk about my dear friend. Actually, I love this guy.
Oh.
That guy is good. So anyway, according to him, which I agree with him,
Who, Pastor
actually,
Nana?
yes,
Okay, continue.
a lot of people are getting saved because they want to get spouses in churches. Yes, and you know that huku nje soko ni chafu. So they are getting married, they're even getting baptized, getting serious into religions. Like they are really committing to Christianity and doing the right things just so they can save spouses. I know viewers would expect me to start with someone on this, but I know he's not one of them. Anja, what do you think?
See you.
I think whenever I see Pastor Nganga, hata nikimwona tu hivi nasianga tu kucheka. And it's how he combines guitar, sauti, kuongelesha audience wake. But he has been doing the Lord's work. Hata tangu imbie Zakayo ashuke sijui shuka juu ya muti. And then his other latest song, wanataka kutumaliza baba. I even saw King Kaka ameweka combination ikakuwa very nice beat. So big up Commander, anajitanga Commander huko TikTok. Anywho, watu wanaokoka ndio wapate bibi. Alafu wakipata bibi wana backslide. For me I would say, from just the way we say, there is a time we talked about marriage and I said things don't go wrong, they start wrong. Unaona ukikuwa observant na mtu tu vizuri without being blinded by love ama being blinded by many things, there is a way a person who has grown up in church and religion and a person who is doing it dramatically, there is a way they look. I'm a Catholic myself. By just listening to you, how you are talking, I'll tell you, you are brought up as a Catholic. I'll tell you, wewe yako ni ya kuwatch kwa Facebook.
TV.
Na wewe yako hata sio Catholicism, ni kanisa yenye tuko karibu na wewe unaenda. It is a way of life. It is how people behave. It's how the reverence to religious holidays like the Lent, ile time ya tukulangi sana, tunakula tukuli nyama. It is reverence to issues like Easter and other religious whatever. So for me I would say, kama wewe ni Gen Z na unatafuta mpoa ama ndo permanent, huyo mtu akijifanya kwa kanisa, take a step back and observe. There is a way people who have grown up in the religion behave vis-a-vis watu wa kudramatize, and that sort of gives you that open-minded perspective to decide how you want to go. It's unfortunate that people are behaving to be Christians, but then I know bad behaviors like a snake's skin will always shed off. Hata mtu anajifanya ati amekoka kama kuna tu bad habits like smoking, if I could use it as a bad habit, siku moja tu utamshika either na kalaita, either na karufu kamefichwa na chewing gum. Uto to bad habits, unless someone is really deliberate and honest, you hardly get away with that.
Let me say something real quickly. Pastor Nganga was talking specifically to women. Yes, Pastor Nganga was specifically talking to women who come to church to look for a husband. He specifically said that verbatim because, being very honest, a majority of the audience within church are actually women. He knows his target audience, actually. That's why he's speaking directly to them. One thing I would say is this. This happens a lot. I'm thinking the mindset is, I'm going to church to quote-unquote cleanse my body count and cleanse my whole bad issues that have actually been done. That is the truth. And hence, and guys, we know this. We know we'll find you guys there when you guys are actually mentally ready to do what? Now get married. After you've had your fun. So now, and guys know this. Guys, what do? Oh yeah, let me go. But now back to church. I'm thinking I want to kind of find like a lady somewhere. Then now we can actually now go pay that dowry that some people don't believe in. And then now the main thing, and that's the truth. When it happens like that is you are in search of now someone who is in the same mindset as you, and that church now can be the same thing. I don't even view it as bad. I view it as you know where to find what you want. You were going out to club to have fun and to enjoy because you just wanted to have one or two nights and you are done. Now your mindset has changed or different things have happened or you've gotten a little bit older and now you're saying, okay, cool, now this is a timing switch I should do. I have no issue with that. Even if you want to go to the church to even quote unquote cleanse your body count and everything, do it. That's why the church is there. It's that cleansing. It's there to actually now make you feel replenished and make you feel pure, white as snow, as they would say, within the church context, as the old gospel hymn would say. But the main thing is, I don't have an issue with that, is also even guys know that. Because now we come looking for y'all. Oh yeah, you girls who went there now to church to cleanse yourself, because we saw you about a year and a half ago out here in the streets. Now you're here. Let's meet. Let's go do the thing, and let's go reproduce and like Father Abraham, and we actually now make some new babies. That is the reality of the situation, and there always comes a time for this. Isn't that right, CEO?
Yeah, there comes a time, but there's something I call organized religion, and the problem I have with organized religion is that it's not spirituality. And the biggest problem where we've seen in organized religion is where the mushrooming of very many sects and cults. And if you look at the Presidential Task Force on Religion, you'll see that 90% of the people are not preaching the gospel. They are telling you things you want to hear in church. So you sit down, like the way Commander is saying, oh, you come look for a wife or husband. Because they've seen, and this is what the verbatim people are saying, soko ni chafu. So they think if you go to church, it's now clear. But it's a hiding place to many people also. There are many robbers in churches nowadays. There are many people who you find in church, but at night they're in clubs. They are doing many bad things. So I always say it is important to look for someone. You differentiate organized religion and spirituality. And what Wanje you're speaking about is spirituality. When you can tell this is a Catholic, it's about spirituality of how the way of religion, but not the way the religion is organized. Because when you organize religion in a certain sect, people do very many bad things. You're told to bring your money or just come in. Every Sunday you find that girl who was dancing bend over in a church in club is the one in singing in front of the church. And you cannot tell the difference. The difference is the long attire she's wearing on Sunday from that skin tight she was wearing in the club in the night. So I think the biggest thing men should do is not to go to look for women in church. It has been over-glorified. Go and look for women who you can have a character you can live with. Because if you're going to look for women in church, you'll be disappointed because, as Wanja had said, you'll just find a woman who is pretending to be in church. Someone who is pretending to be religious is following an organized system, but does not have any character to go with what you are looking for. And that's why you find most of those people who are in church, you've seen, a pastor has disappeared with a condom, and we've said them here. Because they're following organized religion, but not spirituality. But this is about character, this is about how you want to, the person you want. And I like the way traditionally men and women used to do. If you want to get married, people would go and look at that family. And they knew families where you should not marry from. They would tell you, Ule, first of all, those ones leave their husbands. They will tell you that. Those ones, they have weird diseases, ailments. They will tell you those ones, they are stupid. They don't become number one in school. Yeah, they knock them out. The people are knocked out. You married according to the pedigree of your family. Have you seen rich men going to look for women? They have arranged marriages. They know Simon will marry Nani's daughter, is in this place. They are clever. they have this wealth, they don't have funny diseases, and this is how they are organized. So they marry character. So it is important to just go and get married to someone you can live with.
Before I give my opinion, I want to give advice to girls. If you're going to church to look for a husband, please go to a church where there are wealthy men, because don't fail in everything. Go to a church where there are wealthy men, so that at least you can gain something. But on that note,
Hey, Maria.
Maria, you don't want to...
no, there's no way I'm getting
it's
saved
true.
and
I'm not
getting a
against
poor
that.
man.
I'm not
You
against
just
that.
have to pick a struggle.
Choose a struggle.
Yes.
Pick a struggle.
But this is the point. When someone goes to church just to get a husband or to get a wife, you cannot sustain that. Because salvation is very difficult, let me tell you something. If it doesn't come from within you, like it's something deep from within you. First of all, if it's not cultured in you, it's something you're learning, giving up on it will be very fast if you had a motive. So it's very easy, like you would find a drunk person who is someone that you would never think could make a good wife, making a good wife. You'll find someone that you felt like they are not saved, but human-wise, responsible-wise, they make good wives. It doesn't matter where you get a woman from. You just, okay, let me go back to church. Pray to get a good wife who has the character that you can live with. Because at the same time, we understand that marriage comes, different people, different personalities, whether they are saved or not, there is a personality that comes out after marriage that has nothing to do with church. It has everything to do with who someone is from within. And you don't want to be married to someone who is going to live in church forever. Now, let me go to men. CEO, men. You know something funny is, even me as a woman, when I go to that church to look for a husband, I'm not going there to look for a man with an oversized suit who is always in church. I'm looking for also the usual relationship whereby you will love and pamper me.
The Gen Z.
You see? And now, men assume that we are coming, like someone has said, now we are following you in church. But remember, if you follow me in church, I am a changed person. You're either coming to following me as a changed person, or you're not following me at all in church. Let me go get the men that are in church, that I can find them. Good. Now, see, you're saying that someone was going to be, I'm looking for a wife for someone because a wealthy man did not find a wife. There was matchmaking, right? Don't marry there are diseases. Don't marry there. What about men? Were we told as women, don't accept to be married by him? He's poor. Or men are the ones that found wives. Wives just went.
Women waited for the husbands.
So men who had weird diseases, who are poor,
They
did
marry
not
those
get
ones
wives.
they will get those ones who have diseases as well.
Yes.
You know,
Mary, like
So
your-
they say it was matchmaking of the bad and the good.
Yeah.
No?
Actually, in Kikuyu
Okay.
culture, there is an elaborate ceremony called
Yes.
Komenya Moshe, directly transmitted. Komenya means to know.
To know.
Moshe means the home.
Yeah.
So because then people used to live near each other. Sio kaa sahi ati unatoka
Sahi
Nyeri
tumejaa.
unaenda Mombasa. Sini wale watu walikuwa naona tu kwa village. Kwanza kuna ile hearsay. By the way, unaitwa nani Simon? Simon nani? Njoroge for example. Njoroge wa nani? So wakishashika hiyo surname wakishikanisha na hii there is a way wanaweza kutai. So to know the home is not merely at knowing nyumba yenu ni ya matope au mabati. Kujua tabia zenu, kujua nani aliwahi wa mtu,
Yeah, they know.
kujua hizo
Conmen, are
cases
you
zinaweza
conmen? There's doctors.
But
vitu kaa hizo. So it's a very elaborate way of sort of
Wanja, do you
protecting.
know how many marriages right now are starting with nilikuja kwako mvua ikaanza kunyesha sikutoka. Nikingoja inyeshe nikapata mimba. A lot of marriages are
Yeah,
starting
and,
that
and
way.
you know how long
How
they
they
last?
end?
3 years. That's all they last. And that's the truth. Because
Right
even,
now, a lot of people are co-parenting because of that. Like, there's nothing like this at long marriage
Listen,
thing. No.
Maria, if
And then
people
we
are-
start
if
social
people
media
are
and become content creators,
If they
we
were
make money
infatuating with
divorce.
each other and they decided to get into the sack, that's their problem. But if
It's
you're
not
living-
infatuating. See, your love is the first thing that you notice when you see someone. He's saying that
That's
he's
not
saying
love,
is
that's
very
lust.
infatuation and lust.
That's the point. Feelings came. Like,
they come after some time.
strong sense of ovulation told you, I love you, young man.
Are you serious? Where? You have
Simon,
serious-
take it out.
When it comes to survival tactics, those
Yeah.
are not good survival tactics.
Yes.
But let me tell you others. There's another lady in Kawagware. What she was doing, she was a house help from another Australian lady. She was an Australian nurse. She's here in Kenya. She has a house in Runda. What happened was, this lady in Kawagware, she had a ailing father. Her dad was really going through a hard time. So one time, while she was going through cleaning up, then all of a sudden she saw this ring is very interesting. And then all she did was just even point it out. And then even now she recognized the value of this ring. So what happened? She took it and decided to become a very stingy finger and actually even sell it. But she only sold it for only like 4,000 shillings. So she can go get some drugs or some other things for the father. So he can actually even feel better. Of course, now she's actually in court now pleading with the magistrate saying, hey, I had no other option. I really had to do this and everything. Now, before I even, are there some crimes of understanding? Like even you should like now, is there any leeway for leniency when it comes to like someone actively did the intent of the crime? Should that be heavily considered, especially maybe in this case, and now consider yourself, what if she stole from you?
Okay. You did not have to add the last part.
Nuh-uh.
The crime of understanding was good.
You have to understand it.
When you said from me,
yes,
no,
what if she stole from you?
No, let me say something.
This is what was stolen.
Let
now.
me say something.
Imagine.
Let me say something. If she saved a life, as a judge, I would forgive. Because medicine is something very... And you know, for someone to have gone to that extent and even selling it that cheap price, she was not even looking for money because she could have waited to get a better market for it. She was more like, I'm trying to buy medicine because someone needs it. And it's really hard for you to tell yourself, I could have done something no matter how criminal, and I did not. I'm not advocating for stealing. But I'm saying, for me, I feel like that lady should be forgiven. I feel like her concern was genuine. Her crime was not, it's not good to steal. And she did not steal, alikutana nayo, chakokota si chakuiba. So, the crime was whatever she did with the money, and the fact that she did not wait for a big buyout from it. She just was, I'm in a hurry. If she had a place whereby take it and give me a loan, I'm sure she would have gone back, searched for the 4K, returned it, and took the ring back. She looks, and I feel like she's genuine, and if the judge could look at it from that perspective, that would be another thing. But then let me speak another thing. As employers, if you have a nanny, try and create a safe space whereby they can at least tell you deeper issues, whereby my father is ailing. That's a deeper issue that if you tell your employer, who has the ability to buy that expensive ring, can get the 4,000. Sometimes, just like I always say that when a thief steals a phone in town, all of us wish that they could call us and sell to us, right? But in real sense, if we create, maybe this employer was so harsh that this lady felt like no one can help me. But if I can trust you to take care of my children, I want you to trust me with basic issues in your life so that you don't need to do a crime against me. Because we all know that some of us, if you keep the person who is taking care of your home well, they will not steal that expensive ring from you. They'll come at you, give me the advance of 4K. Help me, my father is ailing, such things. But for her to take that money, I would start by, maybe the employer was unapproachable, and she was in a hurry to save her life, to get the medicine for the father. Yeah.
Wanja?
Wow. When you talk about a house help in Kawangware, I remember the show, The Real House Helps of Kawangware, that I used to, niko napenda kuwatch. I think I saw they have a rerun or something. I believe it was airing on KTN actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, niko na watch. Anywho, it's such a delicate discussion, because here you're talking about an employer whose something has been stolen, but also on the other side we are talking about someone who has, stolen from someone, and they must be deterred, otherwise they'll do it again, and probably they have done it again before. I'm also looking at maybe the worth of the ring, and it's a very delicate something, because you want to be compassionate, but also on the same hand you don't want to normalize it. That kind of a moral dilemma reminds me of a young man whose wife had given birth in Kenyatta. And then the wife was detained. You know how they detain women who have given birth if you don't have money. And so the guy stole the baby, akamweka kwa bucket. You all remember that story? And then when alimweka, when they were leaving, I think our security ujua anaangalia akaona amebeba mtoto. So the guy is saying, sina pesa za kulipa hospitali, huyu mtoto ni wangu na siwezi kamwacha, na bibi yangu ni mgonjwa. Bibi yangu alikuwa detained. So what do? I left with the baby. So we are also looking at issue, there could be a criminal element, because one would ask, kama mtoto alikuwa kwa nursery, how sure are you ni mtoto wako? What if you took another person's baby, you mistake ni wako amevaa nguo the same? But also on the other hand, we are looking at a young man who has been trapped in a system of poverty in Kenya, because ideally we are talking about a lady who has to still to educate, to treat the dad, and if the dad is old, a health system should work for the old in Kenya, where she doesn't have to steal to buy medicine. It should be cheap or free. As a judge, I would really be torn between these two scenarios. How I would approach it is, I would implore upon the lady to forgive the one who stole, but I would have a little form of punishment for her, so that it doesn't look like normalized, because tomorrow she'll take her phone, tomorrow she'll take her passport, tomorrow she'll take a big thing.
Or tomorrow she'll never steal
Yeah.
again.
Well, but you see, when someone does a bad thing, there should be a choice, must have a consequence. If you do a bad thing, there must be a consequence, but considerations are always made like, has she ever stolen again? No. So she was desperate. You know, such consideration could, it's a whole context altogether, but I would attach it to a form of punishment. Probably, unajua Nairobi tuliambiwa tukivuta sigara ama tukikojoa kwa barabara, tunaosha city mortuary. You saw that Kasakaja's punishment.
Stupid.
So sasa she need to have some form of punishment. Afage huko kwa police station, so that it rings to her that it could, the lady could also be legitimate. She has sentimental value to the ring. Maybe alipoa na the dad who died in 1980. So there are always so many dynamics to it, but I think I would forgive her, but there could be a little form of punishment to deter her.
You know, I'm shocked the way you guys are arguing about this case, because
Have you said
crime is crime. Number one. Secondly, if you have ability to steal from your employer and you take the most expensive thing in that house, this is not a 5,000 ring. This is 600,000 ring.
But
You know the value of that ring. You have identified it. And you need only 4,000 to treat your father. There are people we call house helps from hell. They are there. They beat kids. They abuse kids. And this is one example of them. Because I'm sure this girl from Kawangware knew even where to sell this ring. She knew even the person who does the smelting of these rings. This is a criminal enterprise. We will not apologize for a person who walks in and you can ask your employer for advance. Many house helps ask for money, and they're there. Every Saturday and Sunday they go on off. They ask for money. They are given money to go. There's no person, and I know if you employed any farmhand or anything, by now they've asked you for money. They have asked me personally, people who have employed by now, and we give them, and we are approachable. What I know is that there's a group of people who will always, even that disease might be fixated, might be a lie, that my father is sick. You are just a thief, a common thief. You've stolen from your employer. Now you want to justify it, saying that my father was sick, I needed 4,000, what you sold for the ring.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Here's the issue. I'll go further. There's ethics. There
Yeah.
needs to have some ethics in stealing. And let's elevate it further.
Yeah.
Why are you the one perpetrating the crime yourself?
Yes, why?
Why don't you even allocate this responsibility and outsource the criminal activity to someone else
Yes.
to execute it on your behalf, and then you reap the proceeds later on?
Because she's
So you
not
can
a thief.
actually, no. She's not a tactical thief. That's what I'm saying. Have some tactics in your execution.
Yes.
Let's be reasonable.
No.
I'm sure.
Here's the thing, no, there's
Let's
also
argue
this.
with Simon.
Wait.
Simon, let me tell you something.
You have to
You're
know
not going to be teaching ourselves how to steal.
You know, there's even a right way to do a wrong thing.
But
There's even a right way to
we
do a
don't
wrong
need
thing.
people doing the wrong thing. So they don't need the right way to do it.
Here's the thing. I even want my house helps to even upscale their, sensibility on some things.
Wow.
When it comes to now execution of some things, you also have to learn how to do it better. Even when it comes to even stealing. Why are you stealing the most expensive thing?
Why?
So you start a small thing and see if you be caught first of all.
Maybe
No, it's not the small
she's
thing.
taken
Did
all
she
the
even know the
small
value of the
things.
ring?
Yeah, I'm sure she did. No,
She did.
she
Let me tell you,
recognized
she
it that it's something
recognized
of
it. Value.
That's why she took it and then ignored so
I don't think she knew
many
the
other
value.
things.
No, she knew.
No, she knew.
She knew.
Because you recognize
You-
that this is
you
something
knew.
of value, and then you
Because
you're
if she
avoiding
was
so
a
many things.
thief, then it means she's
Yeah,
taken
alafu
small
maybe
things nobody
maybe
noticed.
4K is a lot of money
Listen,
in her eyes.
listen. There's a
No,
neighbor.
when
Okay,
you
it's not a lot of
There's a
money.
neighbor of
That's a
mine.
When you're in Kawangware.
There's a neighbor of mine who had those
Me.
house helps. Exactly the same thing. And this girl was the most trustworthy girl in that house. It's only this lady they don't have kids. It's just her and the husband. So the
And they
woman
have a house help.
cleans only on Sundays. So that Sunday, this girl came one day and stole 30,000 in the jacket. And disappeared because the trust she had built on this lady, she wouldn't imagine she would pick. So she had known this 30,000 on that pocket and she disappeared with it. And she was nowhere to be seen. It's only that, remember, even this one is in investigations. Let's not blind ourselves from the fact that the police have investigated and found where the ring was sold and identified. A ring for 3,000 is a ring for 3,000. Nowadays, you won't get a house help who does not know the value of things. They are if you're working in these environments, you know the amount of money. So if you're just coming from that background where you are going to steal, you're going to steal.
And the key thing, even to add on, just something final on this. Before you steal anything, please remember, you're stealing and then your credibility is now the value of that thing.
Yes.
That is it. Your value of that thing is literally that's it. That 30,000 that lady took, that 30,000 is the value of her trust forever.
Yeah.
That is what you have to know. So even how much trust and responsibility that you can even be given, even at work or whatever, will be dependent on how much even trust you can even build with even how much money you can have access, how much money can you even handle, even how much responsibility can you even handle even expensive things. And the moment now you steal and you take it, that is the value of your trust, and it's gone just like that. And that's what you have to.
But
That's
you see,
that's what happens when you steal.
You lose your trust in that home. You go to the next home, you get hired.
No, not to go to the next home, because what happens is word of mouth. When you're in that level stage, or even you're allowed to even have access to someone's house in Runda, there's referral systems,
there's referral
and you're most
system.
likely in an agency
Yeah.
aspect. And what happens when the story has even come out, that even we're talking about it here on KTN, your face and everything is out there. So your value is 4,000 shillings, and your trust is 4,000 shillings. Is your Wanja, or are you even gonna hire her?
And can I tell you something? That is the rich people's perspective. The middle class now, they don't have those referral.
They do.
Let me tell
Many
you,
people do.
nitumie mwenye umepata, wangu alitoka asubuhi.
But before Nitumie, tell me about her. Where is she from? What has she done in the past? How is she a
What's
good with the
her
kids?
Yes.
Is she whatever? Can she cook these meals? For whatever, you know, they talk even more detail.
Yeah.
Like, can this cook these meals? The different meals that CEO likes in his house,
Yeah.
the one will never take.
And it's really sad when we should not apologize for people who are thieves, by the way. If you are going to steal, you cannot steal because your father is sick.
Yeah.
If you have that ability that your father is sick, you will walk to me and tell me, I'm in a fix. My father is sick. Kwani hiyo nyumba
Sasa kama unanitukana kila siku utakuja aje?
so is a madman is working for.
Yeah, but there are bosses who think that if you take water, you are making the bill go high.
Lakini
Wanja?
CEO, some of these things are never black and white.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen zile cases kuja judiciary ati mtu aliba mkate na maziwa na akakula kwa supermarket?
That is
Oh, that's
hunger.
You are
That is
hunger.
hunger.
But kuiba bado.
But you have a job. You have a job.
No, that's the point.
hunger.
You're not. Let me tell you
Kuiba
the
ni
truth.
kuiba,
Yes.
lakini kuna context.
Kuna context.
Hapana.
Ingine
Kuna
lazima.
black and white.
Okay, I wonder we are arguing with people who do not have serious, really emotions and feelings.
But we keep it real.
We keep it real. How's that from
real,
hell?
right?
Let them keep it real, but
Every
let's
single
understand
week.
that.
We have to keep it real with you. Hey, if you steal
Yeah.
and you
You
get
have-
caught,
Yeah.
you
dark.
bear the
And then the
consequences.
government should fix insurance, SHIF, NHIF, so that no girl will have to steal to medicate
Okay.
that.
Or steal like a politician so you never get caught. Bye-bye. Let's see you next time.
Samantha Wines, now available in all the leading wine stores.